This is the Ice Drake Krig from Warzone 1, and there's absolutely no way I could make this in real life, right? Who am I kidding? Of course I am, and here's how I'm gonna do it. First, this gun is super detailed, so a normal 3D printer isn't gonna work. This time, I'm using resin, and nothing ever goes wrong with resin. Next, to really bring this dragon to life, I'm gonna add some lights to shine through the clear blue resin. I'll figure out how to do that later. And finally, I'm gonna hand paint the model to make it look like it just flew right out of the game. And it's already printing, so let's go check on our first successful piece.
It failed. It looks really good. Yeah, that's not right. Hopefully this other side did okay. Wow.
I've got some good news and some not so good news. First, the good news, I'm learning. We did another print, the second one, that same piece that failed again. We tweaked some of the supports and stuff, and that is printing again, but the other big piece on that run looks awesome. Except, you see how it's curved? And you can see the problem there. Maybe like the video for the good vibes. Hopefully this, continues better and, please.
Alright, so on today's episode of Learning Resin Printing with Wash, the second version of this piece, it is filled with supports. I don't really know why that happened.
And here we are almost 2 weeks later, and I finally have everything printed. I'm gonna lay it all out for you just so you guys can kind of see like what it's gonna kind of look like once it's all together. Then we will talk about what our next steps are. All right, so here we are. We've got it all together. I'll give you a better look here. It's looking awesome, but we have a ton of work left to do. We have 16 pieces, and we don't want that. I did it like this just to make sure that I wasn't printing giant pieces, them failing, and then we lose a lot of resin, which is very expensive. Not everything printed perfect. The reason I say it didn't print perfect, not every edge is flat. Like we look at this side, it's perfectly flat. Then this side, which had a bunch of supports and stuff, it's a little rounded. What we need to do, and you can kind of see what I already did to start, is we need to start sanding these pieces down. Other big thing that I mentioned earlier in the video, there's all these little support. We are gonna make this thing light up, so having all of that in there, probably gonna block some of the light from getting from one end to the other and vice versa. I went and I bought a cheap set of drill bits on Amazon. I wanted to get like a hole saw, but there wasn't any that were like next day shipping. So this is what I came up with. Without further ado, let's get to drilling. Giggity.
Also, if anybody in the comment section knows a good way, outside of just cutting all the edges of this, to open these types of packages, let me know, because these things suck. We might need to get something else. Now, before you scream at me in the comments for saying, that's not a tool that you should use for this job, I don't know what I'm doing, okay? With that said, let's go to Lowe's or something and get a hole saw, I guess.
And now we're back. We'll see what we got here. Hopefully this works, fingers crossed.
There you go. We can start grabbing all this inside. You have a hollowed out piece. It is still super, super strong, so I'm not worried about that at all. I'm gonna do the same thing to this side. That's done. I'm gonna do the rest of these, get all the supports out.
This has been a lot. I think we are moving on now to the next step. I bought something off the TikTok shop. It's like $2. Might as well give it a go. It's these little strobe lights. It comes with 4 of them. Look how bright this is. This thing is bright. It just so happens to have a blue setting. Let's just pop it in and see what we're working with here. I mean, it transfers, but not a ton. Let's turn off the lights in here as well. It is making it into this one, so that does give me a little bit of hope. We're gonna keep playing with it, but I think we can move on to prepping these to be assembled together. All right, a little update. I've been just trying to wrap my head around how we're gonna do the lights in this. These things, while they are really cool, I just don't think are gonna work. Even if I put it here, see how it just like, the light just stops. I think what I'm gonna have to do, get some sort of like LED light strip. Let's go over to Lowe's or Home Depot. We'll probably go to Lowe's and get ourselves some LED strips. Come on. right, we're back and we've got a plan. So the way this works is you have a receiver here, and this is Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, I think. Then you have the roll of lights. My plan here for the back side of this, I've drilled this out, and this fits just ever so perfectly right in there. This is gonna go through, and then I'm gonna drill a little inconspicuous hole right here where this end is going to attach to. Then we'll get to feeding all of this through.
Fingers crossed that we don't break it. You can kind of see, so this is where it broke. It fits in nice, so we'll be able to glue that okay. We've got it kind of sanded. I did a bunch of things. I didn't film it because I'm an idiot. We've got it. It fits.
At this point in the project, I was at an all-time low. Everything was going wrong, and if feeding the lights through didn't work out, I was just gonna give up on the project and scrap it altogether. We have made some freaking progress. I just kind of locked it in, I'm gonna be honest. Kind of hit a groove, and there was just no stopping. It freaking lights up. I'm just really excited, and look at this thing. All right, sick, dude. I almost can't believe that we're here, but we are finally on to the painting. We've got the whole thing all assembled here. This is still going to be quite the undertaking from here. I think we're going to tackle this a few different ways. The first is I'm going to look at a bunch of source material and images of the blueprint. Then I'm going to go through and we're going to start painting the whole thing black. Let's start putting the base coat on. All right, and now this is where we're at. The next part that we got to do is start adding some colors and weathering. And once you get all those base coats down, you have something like this. So you can see there's just a lot of really good dimension on this, right? Now the next step here is to add in some more cool tones. So we want to bring all of this blue that's going to be lighting up, we want to bring that to other parts of the piece. All right, the next thing that we're going to focus on is the head, because I want the head to be as detailed as possible. I want to do a bunch of detail on the teeth. All right, next up, it is now time to tackle the runes. As you can kind of see, I have it sketched out on every little piece. So we want the part that's sketched to still have light shine through. So essentially, I'm going to paint black around all of that, and then we're gonna weather it up and like kind of do the texture and stuff that we've done to the rest. I feel really good about this. Now there's only a couple of steps left. The next thing we need to do is spray the whole thing down in matte finish. So I'm gonna spray it, and then we will be right back for that last step. All right, now with that all done, all that's left is to glue on the wings. And here we go.